Today, I'm critiquing this $42 million property. So if you ever decide to design, build, or buy a property like this, you won't make the same mistakes. I'm Arvin Haddad, I'm the mansion guy. Let's watch this video together. Can you spot the flaw? You can tell a lot from a roofline of a property. I always pause the frame and ask my subscribers to spot the flaw because it's a muscle you have to exercise. I'm going to reveal the flaw in about 2 minutes. There's a lot going on here. Pay attention.
Priced at $42 million, this is the most expensive home for sale in the San Fernando Valley. It stands out on every level, so let's go see it.
Okay, pay attention to this road. This is a busy road. Okay, this is called Laurel Canyon, but the property is not on it. It's pretty close, but it's not on it. This area is called Fryman Estates, okay? It's right off Studio City, a very under the radar neighborhood. George Clooney used to live over here. There are not that many houses. It's a very small little nook, very valuable, very under the radar.
Welcome to the Fryman Estate. We have an extremely special tour ahead of us. So many different areas, moments, and spaces to see, and the arrival experience to this home is really amazing. In fact, behind Armand, we have gates opening up to this spacious motor court. I love the stone pavers here. And then over on this side, we got this gorgeous, mature oak tree, providing so much character and shade to this arrival experience.
Did you spot the flaw, or were you googly eyes over the whole frontage? I know, you were thinking, oh my God, this frontage is so amazing, so beautiful, so generous. But perhaps that frontage is causing a lot of problems that I'm going to point out right now. If you couldn't spot this from the roofline, you should subscribe to the channel because my subscribers can. The problem is this is a very long house and it's room to room to room. Hear me out. You're going to enter from the center. You're going to have a choice to go left or right, and it doesn't really matter because it's identical, symmetrical on both sides. You're going to go to this volume. In order to go here, you have to go through this volume. And then in order to progress through this volume, you have to go room to room to room. And same exact thing on this side. But to make matters worse, you're going to have vertical connectivity issues. Guess what? This area doesn't have a second floor. Meaning, if you're upstairs over here and you want to go upstairs over here, you have to take the stairs down, take this long hallway to this side, take the stairs up and go up. And it's horrible. It's completely disastrous layout issue. And it's perhaps caused by the way they've positioned the house on the lot. They decided to give the frontage on the long width of the property, which in my opinion is a mistake. This road on itself is not that busy. And the property is a little bit perched up from the street level. I would have made an L-shape or a U-shaped property, and I given it a frontage on this side and put the property over here with much more volume, okay? That you can have a hallway in the middle and rooms on each side. That way, you would have still had a ginormous backyard and would have utilized the lot, and the house would have protected the backyard from that not so busy street.
Now, another thing about this property that's so cool is the fact that the entire proportions and the architecture is symmetrical. In fact, on this side, you can see the first voluminous section that houses the 3-car garage on the lower level, and on top, it houses the staff quarters.
Did you hear what he just said? We're not designing a Georgian house to really focus on symmetrical essence of the architecture. This is a modern barn house. It's not supposed to be symmetrical. See, these are the early decisions in the design phase that are made that force your hand to so many other problems down the road. Nobody asked for a symmetrical barn house. This, more than anything, looks like a compound. And the nature and the beauty of a compound is its flaws. It's quirkiness. You didn't have to commit to a symmetrical design to execute a beautiful barn house.
And on the exterior, they used Obichi wood siding. I like how much warmth it gives to the property, and they used not only different lengths, but different widths as well to give the house a more contemporary aesthetic.
No, it doesn't. That doesn't make it more contemporary. It makes it more natural. It actually makes it look authentic barn house, even though it's new.
You complement that with these oversized picture windows that are black. And then over on this side, just like I mentioned earlier, given the fact that the house is symmetrical, we have another 3-car garage, and above that is a TV room. And coming back to this section, I love the landscaping here. The entry, the arrival to this motor court is also very private.
Okay, let's talk about the frontage and the architectural style. I'm going to score them at the end of the video. But as for now, you should know that I like it. Even though I disagree with the way they've positioned the house, nevertheless, the frontage is massive. It really states that this is a proper property. It gives you that ultra luxury vibe and energy. Architecturally, the palette is spot on. This natural wood is beautiful next to that charcoal roof, and the vegetation is green. If anything, I would have gone with a pebble surface for the U-shaped driveway to give it that Napa aesthetics. If you were going to do it on any property, this would have been it.
Let's go inside. The foyer is quite minimalist. We have gorgeous limestone floors, light color walls, and when you walk in, you see the art, 2 wall sconces, and the entry of this property is hiding what's about to come. In fact, it is connected to these 2 voluminous sections.
Okay, I'm not against that. If you do have an amazing wow factor, you're allowed to delay it, okay? If you have a good plan for it to release it at the right time, I'm not against it. But you don't even have a coat closet here. It's a little concerning.
Let me take you to this one first. Welcome to the formal dining room, the entry of this property, and this open space. The room is anchored with this titanium travertine wrapped fireplace, and with 25-foot high ceilings, wood paneled walls.
This is not a chimney. This is the telephone pole. Again, a great design, beautiful concept, wrong place, wrong time. You were supposed to give me an external wow factor, and you just distracted me with this, telephone pole. It's not what I was expecting at all.
We have sliding glass doors opening up to the backyard, and right in front of us we have this olive tree that is perfectly positioned, symmetrical to this opening, and we have so many other details to cover. But before we do that, let's quickly get the specs of this property out of the way. We have 7 bedrooms, 11 bathrooms, 17,627 square feet of interior space, situated on 1.4 acres, on the market for $42 million.
I'll give you guys a price opinion at the end of the video. It's not going to sell anywhere close to this.
And also, I want to give big thanks to Rob Diaz, who is the designer and the developer of this property. I had a chance to walk the home with him a few days ago. He has done an exceptional job with the home. The architecture, the layout.
The layout? Okay, let's see about that, Enes.
And with 25-foot high ceilings and this design, it leaves the room very voluminous. And you can see the copper flue that runs all the way to the ceiling. It is such a cool statement piece. It divides the room, but leaves it nice and open.
Do you know why they put this fireplace with this ridiculous chimney in the middle? To create a hallway so you don't have to go through the dining table. And that is because you committed to the symmetry on the drawing board, right? See, you see, these are like the commitments you make when you design from outside in, instead of designing from inside out.
And over here, we have the formal dining room. Now, I'm obsessed with this solid wood table, seating for 12. The design of these chairs are so chic. In fact, Armand, let's get a close-up. Not only you have the curved sections, you can also see the amount of veneers and plies that they use with the frame of the chairs.
Absolutely beautiful. The interior design of this property is going to get a really, really high score. They've done a really good job curating for that aesthetic that I talked about, that Napa Valley, barn house, earthy tones. They've done an incredible job. Everything in the whole property is almost flawless.
Now, let's come back to this section. To my right, we have a massive picture window facing the motor court.
Okay, this is what your guests will see when you invite them over for dinner. On one side, they're going to see the fireplace because it's blocking the backyard, and then the motor court. And this is even more reasons why you should have gone with that pebble finish on the motor court to give it that backyard vibe and energy that is greener, earthier elements than just the motor court.
Now, gets better. Over here, we have these double doors. And when you open these doors, it leads you to the service kitchen. Given that we have the formal dining area here, and also the main kitchen is a little bit far from this section.
Oh, I thought the layout was good. What happened, Enes?
Now, I want to take everybody this way. Hallway facing the backyard, massive picture window assembly. And now we're coming towards the end of the left wing. And when I say left wing, facing the home, we have the first staircase here, but I want to quickly go this way. You can also see the hardwood floors, picture window framing this section. And at the end of this hallway, we have a storage closet and access to the 3-car garage. And going here, to my left, we have the laundry room with built-in cabinetry, 2 washers, 2 dryers, really cool sink. And then to my left, we have the powder room.
Wow. You better have a big bladder if you purchase this property. From the dining room, you have to go down a hallway, then do a juke move, past the stairway, enter another hallway, and then make a right to another hallway, go to the end, make another right. By then, the grandpa has peed his pants. Okay, it's dangerous. Way far out for the powder room. Again, major layout issues here. This is unrealistic. I can't even hold it for that long.
You have green plaster walls, this stunning green fabricated marble vanity, brass fixtures, this really unique mirror design, and even here we have another window bringing in so much natural light.
Okay, let's talk about the finishes. The only thing that was disappointing was that garage. It looked like any garage from anywhere in America. Okay, that's like your typical garage you get. But the rest of the stuff was good. The laundry room was gorgeous. The powder room is really beautiful. They're working their palette, the finishes, the color palettes are spot on.
Now, jumping back to the staircase, so we can check out the next room, which is another dining area or your informal dining room, because we're located right next to the kitchen.
I love it when there's a dining room after my dining room. This is another dining room. DC, room to room. We still haven't seen a seating arrangement, okay? If you've entered, you saw 2 dining rooms, and you still don't have a place to sit.
And the room opens up to the outdoors. These are all Fleetwood sliding glass doors. And when you step out to this courtyard, you see the water features, perfectly framed olive tree, this minimalist desert landscaping. And I can see the kitchen from here, so there's a nice connectivity.
Okay, let's give credit where it's due. I like the fact that this dining room, not the first one, opens up to both ways. I really think this is where you're going to dine. And a lot of times when you commit to a symmetrical look and you make decisions of volumes where to be, you end up with these rooms that you don't know what to do with. And so far, 100%, I much rather dine in this dining room than the other one.
Follow me this way so we can check out the fam room. This room is so warm, elegant, connects to the kitchen as well as the backyard. And I just love this sectional couch. It has unique dimensions, and if you look at the bottom, you will see this wood trim detail that matches the aesthetic of the coffee table. You get an amazing view of your 75-foot pool. Big congrats to Studio Rob Diaz. I think he has assembled a phenomenal team that put this entire project together.
I agree. I think the finishes, the palette, the execution, the details, the craftsmanship is spot on. I can already say that, he comes from that world. Layout, not so good. I really like this space, but just pay attention how long it took you to get here, okay? And then the second dining room is not really connected to the kitchen. You have to go through the family room to get to the dining room. Back to my point, that is room to room to room again. You see that?
Now, I want to quickly take everybody this way so we can talk about this stunning kitchen. I mean, where do I begin with the details? Your oversized island with recessed in bar seating, book match countertops, waterfall edges.
Enes, if it wasn't book match on the waterfall, it wouldn't be a waterfall. It's by definition of waterfall, it has to be book match. Let's talk about the kitchen. Very minimalistic. Now, keep in mind, this is your second kitchen. You had one by the dining room. This is your second one. It really lacks uppers. I can see the sacrifice over aesthetics to eliminate that and, really make this a show kitchen. You're going to get cabinetry under the island. It's functionality, not for a gourmet meal, but for the show kitchen, very beautiful.
Your fabricated sink, waterworks fixture, and over here we have the 60-inch wolf gas stove, pot filler, and the backsplash detail here is actually really unique. It's half wool with a shelf on top, and your vent is nicely tucked into the ceiling, and even the cover plates around the plugs. Everything is picked with intentionality, and I just love how quiet this kitchen is.
Okay, this is really interesting actually. They didn't use the wood ceilings in the family areas because the ceilings were not that A-frame, gable, high-pitched roof. You have a second floor above this, and over here, they decided to keep it white and blank because they didn't want to cram the space. But in the two volumes upon the entrance, they're using wood panels to make it more cozy. Have the volume, but have the warmth. That's a smart decision right there.
And to bring additional zenness to the space, another set of Fleetwood sliding glass doors and your water features. Now follow me this way. There are two entry points to the butler's pantry that's located behind the main kitchen, and I really like how this space is designed. It is wide, so you can move around very comfortably.
Wait a minute. This is the third kitchen. We haven't even seen the house. We saw one living arrangement, two dining rooms, and three kitchens. What a waste of money. Do you have any idea how expensive it is to do these kitchens? This is a prime example of committing to a symmetrical shape, right? The overall design and structure of the property that forces your hand to make these decisions, because that dining room was so far away from this kitchen that needed its own kitchen. And then this kitchen had to be pretty, so it needs a butler's kitchen. Super expensive. This is exactly what I do in my inner circle. I save so much money because before they submit the plans, I review the plans and I foresee the problems they will have. Okay, I tie in the architectural style, where to place the house on the lot to maximize layout, and then the finishes and the minimum requirements for resale value, so you won't make these mistakes.
Now we're gonna check out the right wing of this property. We are off the foyer, and this room also features 25-foot high ceilings. And then to my left, we have a very comfortable lounge. We're gonna see that in a second, but first, can we focus on the little seating area here? Fleetwood sliding glass doors open up.
Okay, let's talk about the wow factor, because it's kind of there, but it's not hitting. Let me explain. When you walk in, you had a wall. They decided to hold it back. I'm not against it, okay? You can do that if you execute it right, but they never really delivered that wow. You walk in, you're going to catch a glimpse of the backyard, and mostly you're going to see the other structure on the end of it, right? You never see that depth, and you never really get a clear glance of the swimming pool when you walk into the property. It's a kind of an afterthought when it's really its major strength, because 1.4 acres flat, you better wow me.
On the other side, we have this lounge, and the lounge itself is absolutely stunning. The furnishings, built-ins, accessories. In fact, Rob has sourced every single one of these pieces from various studios and brands.
Okay, here's your formal living space. Now, aesthetically, I love it. The chandeliers, the finishes, the millwork, the rug, the coffee tables, the decor, spot on. But it's really a den by a hallway. Where's the grandness? You have 18,000 square foot of living space, and this is your formal living space? It's just not hitting. It's really not hitting. It's, again, another room in the process of getting to another room.
This is another stunning space. Even though this home is little over 17,000 square feet, it actually carries itself extremely well, very cozy.
What? If it carries its weight really well, it would mean that it's showing its square footage, and it's not. That was a tiny ass formal living space for a house of 17,000 square foot.
And to my left, we have the office. They really lean into the earth tones when it comes to this room.
Dude, they've been leaning to the earth tones the whole house, okay? And this is another example of room to room. Like, the formal living space is the office on steroids, really. It's really the same thing. Again, this hallway is just dictating everything here.
Now, I want to go back to the hallway so we can check out more of the right wing. And in fact, this is where we have the second staircase. Gorgeous art, and I want you to keep this art in mind. And I'm gonna follow me this way. Given that this home is symmetrical, at the end of this hallway, we have the 3-car garage. And then over here, we have another hallway that takes you to a spacious laundry room and a powder room.
I really wish they would have put some urinals in those hallways, because I really don't think you're gonna make it.
Now, Armand, why don't we talk about this staircase? The design here is gorgeous. First off, I appreciate the minimalist approach. We have the same wood throughout the entire staircase, but the detail here that I love is actually right here. Armand, can we get a close up? Where you have the threads and risers, you can see that the interior corners and as well as the outside edges of the staircase, the nosing, is all curved. So it leans into this softer aesthetic.
Beautiful. The millwork, the woodwork on this property is insane. And I wouldn't be surprised if Rob does it in-house. Why? To improve his profit margins and have more control over exactly what he wants, which is brilliant. And it works really, really well when the market is going up. But if the market turns, that's how a lot of developers go belly up. Why? Their overhead cost increases, right? All these specialties are expensive. You're keeping electricians, plumbers, everyone in-house, meaning you have to keep getting projects when, if you zoom out at the macro level in your neighborhood or city, might be a horrible time to start another project. But guess what? Even sometimes when they know it's not a good time, to keep the engine running and their company going, they end up buying a property at the wrong time. And it doesn't really matter at that point if the market is going to crash in their city 20, 30, 40%, you know, they could go belly up because they're using leverage to do these projects.
Now, I talked about the art that's right behind Armand right now, and look at the length of this hallway. In fact, from one side to the other, this hallway is 245 feet. That's about 75 meters.
Dude, why is he acting like the length of this hallway is a representation of his manhood? Why are you bragging about this? That's not a good thing. You want to avoid this, okay?
That's a massive footprint, and what a view.
Oh my God, it's not your cantilever, Enes. It's just a hallway. It shouldn't be there.
Now, let's go towards this side. I'm sorry for pointing out all these details. In fact, I'm gonna quickly open up the sliding glass doors here. Armand, what do you think of the tree here?
It's great. It's amazing. You know, I love the symmetry.
Of the tree? Symmetry of the tree? It looks like Shrek's pubic hair. Are you serious? This is horrible. This would be a good olive tree. This is what you need. Do not buy this garbage.
Perfect set of sliding glass doors opening up to another tree. There's even a little bird's nest here.
Dude, it's empty. Birdie num num bye bye. It's an empty nest. He wasn't happy with the olive tree.
Now next up, we have the TV room. Now this is really contrary to the statement that I made earlier, which is the fact that there are hardly any TVs in this home, but there are dedicated TV rooms. And I like the design here because this room serves different purposes. To my right, you can see the stone fabricated bar. It's the same titanium travertine with bar seating, your 85-inch TV, 5.1 surround sound system.
Wait a minute. Is this a TV room or a bar or your formal living space? Do you see what's happening? Why would your guests hang out in the formal living space when it had no functionality? So this becomes your formal living space? Or is it a bar or a TV room? Where is your media room? 18,000 square foot. Where the hell is the media room? Do you have a movie theater? This is your media room? You mixed it in with the bar?
Now, why don't we leave the TV room and go to the other side? We have 2 bedroom suites here. We're gonna continue our tour with this one. They left the entry of this room really open. To my left, we have sliding glass doors opening up to the courtyard that we saw earlier. And the second detail I want to talk about is the bunk beds here. And we have 2 casement windows here. Yes, you heard me correctly. Those small windows are casements, so you can open them and allow natural light to come in.
You're thinking like this is where your kids like evacuate in case of a fire. It's actually a urinal because the powder room is so far. What is this? Was this like city code or something? This is weird. I don't know the purpose of this.
Now, I want to quickly talk about the bathroom that's on this side.
Single sink. There are 2 beds there, buddy. Single. Is it supposed to be the kids' room?
And over on this side, we have the walk-in shower. has the same brass detailing around the glass door frame. And when you walk in, you see this lava rock tile throughout the entire shower.
I love it. It's really beautiful. Really, really beautiful. And again, goes so well with that natural toned wood. Beautiful.
Now, I have to say, given that the home is almost 18,000 square feet, it lives extremely well. And with that, welcome to the last bedroom that we're gonna tour on this level. I have to say, I love the green tones here, the warmth of the walls, the shading, and then how it complements the oak flooring and these bedside tables. Now, I have to say, I think this is the best bathroom in the entire house.
Why? Because the bathtub is between the sinks? This is really narrow. This is not a junior primary. If this was supposed to be the junior primary for the lower level, it's failing.
The grounds of this property is so special and private. And beyond that, we got this gorgeous backdrop where we have all these mature trees. And they took inspiration from this backdrop when it comes to designing this backyard, and they made every moment, every corner, and every material count. It is a special place, and I'm excited to show it to all of you. Now, follow me this way. Right in the center, you can see the 75-foot pool, all these olive trees, these little sections where you can see the stacked limestone framing these lounging areas. And beyond that, you can also see the architecture of this property, the U shape, and how everything is perfectly symmetrical. Now, at the beginning of this video, I called this property a modern barn home. Rob, who is the developer and the designer, he calls it an A-frame, so I'll let you guys be the judge.
Okay, Enes is much closer. It's more of a Napa modern barn house. It's definitely not an A-frame. Just because you have high-pitched gables doesn't make it an A-frame. A-frames come all the way down to the ground, okay? And the whole experience of A-frame is looking through the A, not being sideways entrance to the A. Okay, do you see that? A-frame, you enter from this side and then you see the view through the A, not sideways to the A. Completely wrong.
And then I really enjoy these small sections and how they're clad with limestone. I like that they didn't use simple tiles and they went with this more chipped stone approach. How you can see the dimensionality, the color variation. It just looks a little bit more organic. It makes it interesting. And then you have your comfortable lounging beds and your 75-foot pool right in the center. The Pebble Tech finish here is called Midnight, and it gives the pool this darker aesthetic, and it looks so zen in this backyard. You have the hot tub all the way on the other side, and this backyard was designed in collaboration with Orca Living, and I think they've done an exquisite job, whether it's the boulders, the plants, the olive trees. In fact, funny story about these olive trees, I don't know if I mentioned it earlier. They had to plant these trees before they constructed the home. So they had to nail the location of these trees because...
Why? Because they got a bulk deal on these subpar olive trees from a clearance in Tijuana? They should have bought these aged olive trees to carry that Napa Valley look. They didn't. And then I'm completely against the balance between that pebble desert bush look and the lawn. You got 1.4 acres of land and you didn't even give me a proper patch of grass. Who's your target buyer? You don't want families to be attracted to this property when you're like the perfect family-friendly neighborhood? You're neglecting that. And this is all caused because of the shape of the house and the placement of the house on the lot. Let me explain. If this wing of the property was pushed all the way back to over here, you could have given it a double width with a hallway in the middle. Some rooms that are not important will face the street. Some other rooms will face the backyard, right? Look at the setback over here of the neighbor. That's your setback. You could have had it right over here. You would have created a private driveway from here, repositioned, had the frontage over here. Your facade would have started over here. You could have done a U shape or an L shape coming in. You wouldn't have needed all this structure. This would have been all your backyard. And guess what? Your backyard would have started from here and would have gone all the way to here. You would have had way more width of a backyard. Way more width. And way better connectivity. Okay, let me give you guys a price opinion right now because this video got just way too long. I'm going to do the spa and the gym and the upper floor in part 2 and give it an Arvin score at the end of that video. But to not leave you guys hanging, I'm going to give you a price opinion for this property. Personally, I cannot recommend any of my personal clients to pay anything more than $24 million for this property because the connectivity really, really dictates and handicaps your best and greatest demographic, which is families. You need to put a tracking device on your kids over here. Your kids will get lost in this property. And by eliminating families from the demographics that would be interested in this property, your buyer pool gets really, really small. I think aesthetically, the finishes, the touches, the textures are top notch, and you will see the Arvin score for them at the other property. But it's the wrong shape house for the lot. And that really creates a lot of connectivity issues. Okay, here's the video for part 2. And this is the QR code for the inner circle. I would love to give you 12 months of support to help you from purchase all the way to sell, if you decide to sell, of your dream home, of your project that you're building, from buying the right house, positioning the house, the lot, the layout, the architectural style, the finishes, the interior, all of that stuff. 12 months of support. I would love to be that guide for you. Thank you for watching, and I will see you guys in the comments.